Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Little Big Man, and welcome back to the January transfer window roundup. Um, I'll start this with a quote from Eddie Howe to BBC Newcastle, and that is of him saying that wait, I'm assuming this is an exact quote. Um, there's been a lot of hours and effort put in by a lot of people. I just want to reiterate that we have to bring the right players in. Bringing players in out of desperation or in a panic is not the route we need to go down. So obviously, the, we know this week has been a bit of a frustrating one to try and bring, especially Diego Carlos in, with obviously Sevilla upping the asking price after a verbal agreement was made. Um, but um, obviously, like more signings are planned by how Stavely, the directors, Nixon and his team, all that. Um, However, obviously, it is the awkwardness of having to unload players to then free up the space for these new signings. Obviously, you've got fringe players that have lengthy contracts. Um, or there's a few that obviously have family in the area, and it's obviously having to move elsewhere, maybe on a loan deal, obviously to then have to come back, or if they're to leave permanently, obviously just to try and move everything, especially at this point in the season. January is a bit of an awkward one, as I've obviously mentioned a few times this window. But I don't know. I guess it's trying to find that right balance. We have obviously getting away with it because we have had injuries, COVID cases, stuff like that, so we are able to juggle players in the registration for Premier League fixtures. However, obviously by January 31st or February 1st, sorry, the final 25-man squad needs to be registered with the league. So obviously that includes bringing in any players, or unloading any players. It would be very nice to say any of them have to take a back seat, and obviously it's basically seem like a backroom staff. Um, but hopefully we can unload the right players to then free up the space for the bigger players that we're wanting to bring in. Um, so we'll start with the I'd say the biggest bit of news maybe today. It may be a push close second or whatever, but it's one of the bigger news. And that is regarding the Jesse Lingard deal. As you can see at the bottom, the deal has hit a bit of a crossroads, more on Lingard's sense of it. Now the player wants to leave on a loan deal to then obviously have his contract expire at the end of the season and explore his options there. Obviously, West Ham could end up going in for him. Obviously, we're interested in the player. There'll obviously be a few other clubs that are interested in him. However, Man United are obviously wanting to cash in while they can. Um, with obviously Newcastle potentially want needing to do what it takes to bring the player in, which could mean a fairly chunky offer. Obviously, it won't be too expensive because obviously he will be leaving the club in the summer, but it's all good for us because obviously Lingard's wanting to move elsewhere. I think he would be happy with a move to Newcastle. However, it's trying to sort it out on their end to try and get an agreement between club and player on how they could work a deal out. Speaking of issues with club and player, Duvan Zapata, personal terms have been agreed with the Colombian striker, with apparently us set to triple his annual salary, which obviously is going to be a very nice payday for him. The offer currently is a 6-month loan and then 40 million euros at the end of the deal, whether it be mandatory or I'm trying to think of the other word. Fuck. Or just like a general offer anyway. I can't think of the right word for it, but obviously the deal is getting closer in that sense, so it is trying to work out between the clubs to get that sorted. And obviously the Diego Carlos deal, which we've been chasing for about 2 weeks. Sevilla, I want to keep him for the match this weekend, and then they are willing to sell the player. Obviously, from that point, it will be up to Diego Carlos himself on whether he wants to join the club or stay at Sevilla. A few interests. I'll move on to the Patrick Schick deal actually, because the player is not thinking about a move elsewhere. Due to him obviously wanting to maybe settle down, because he has had 6 clubs in the past 6 years. And he's saying he's happy at Bayer Leverkusen. So obviously he's not exactly desperate for a move. However, he is willing to wait and see what happens in the next 9 to 10 days. He does watch the Premier League. However, he isn't really thinking or desiring a move to our league. So we'll have to see how that progresses, whether we're willing to throw money at the issue, bring him in. Obviously, a Premier League move might be of interest for him in his career, but obviously right now he's like you said, he's happy in Germany, so we may have to move, like maybe push for Zapata or maybe Nunes, like obviously has previously been mentioned. A striker that we are wanting to push for actually is earlier in the window we're wanting to push for was Julian Alvarez, who was also of interest for Man United. However, Man City are close to signing the Argentinian forward for the rumoured price is about 16 million euros, with add-ons said to be included in the deal. River Plate are wanting at least 21 million euros. However, the deal is said to be almost done, with River Plate asking for him to be loaned back to finish the season at River Plate, obviously just to help them finish their season, so then they can move on to bringing in another player from there. He does, however, have a 25 million euro release clause, which, if we were to make a last minute swoop, we probably could. But then obviously it then is down to the player who would probably favour a move to Manchester City, considering the stature of their club currently compared to ours. In other news, there is interest in signing Arsenal at a backup goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. It was mentioned yesterday. I forgot to write it down, but I did remember today to take notes. So I can't remember whether it was a loan deal or a permanent. We're interested in probably a loan, to cater for the fact that Dubravka is maybe slightly injury prone. And there is also interest in bringing in French centre-back Malang Sarr from Chelsea, with Newcastle being one of 4 clubs interested in the centre-back. A move has also been made for Matt Targett after asking Aston Villa about the player's availability. So that's the left-back position sorted, which we have been interested in bringing in an improvement for the past 3 weeks. We've also entered preliminary talks with Tottenham Hotspur, hoping to sign Dele Alli on loan, which I'm sure a lot of Tottenham fans would be happy with. As obviously at this point in time, Dele Alli seems like a player that probably wanted to offload, which is a shame because obviously he's a good player. He had a very, very good potential, but he just seems to have dropped off a bit. Other loan offers could be for Hamza Chowdhury, who is of interest of Newcastle and Watford. Obviously, as many would remember, we were interested in the defensive midfielder in the summer. However, we couldn't afford the fucking loan deal. Obviously, affording loan deal is no longer an issue, considering we've spent 50 mil so far. Words I never thought I'd be saying, but yeah, if we were to push again for the defensive midfielder, obviously we could finalise the deal this time. Final things to mention are maybe non-official links, but more maybe hints by other people. Obviously, I mentioned the other day, former goalkeeper Paul Robinson was pushing for Newcastle to sign Diego Costa. However, Corinthians are pushing to sign the Brazilian out of contract attacker. However, Timau have offered the best so far, and there is obviously nothing from Arsenal and Newcastle in that sense. There was really no rumour with us linking Costa to a move to Tyneside. However, obviously there was the mention by Robinson. And also for Manchester, obviously a few Manchester United fans might be interested in hearing about these. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, and Harry Maguire are positions of concern for Ralph Rangnick, and very well could be getting sold. Maybe in this window, maybe in the next. So a question for Newcastle fans: would you be happy to take either of the three? I've had a few of a few people I know that if I can get my words out, a few people I know that are Man United fans mention about us signing Maguire maybe in a jokey sense. However, we very well could need to push for the English international, just to reinforce the centre back position really, because that's the weakest in the team. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts. Are you happy with any of those players to go for? Do you reckon we should? Yes or no? And also let me know your thoughts on any of the rumours I've mentioned today, and any rumours I have not mentioned. I'm all for any other rumours. But yeah, be sure to like the video if you're happy with any of these targets, and subscribe, as I will be getting these out most days in January. I'll give tomorrow a miss because it's the football. But from there, every other day in January. I am planning on doing something for deadline day, but I'll have to see what happens there. But thank you very much for watching, and adios.